I'm 13 News Now Meteorologist Evan Stewart with an update on tropical storms Gamma and Delta. It is Monday, October 5th, and the tropics are heating up once again. Now, as you know, we've already made it through the normal list of names, only the second time that we've run out of names. The last time was in 2005, and we had to move to the Greek alphabet. And in 2005, we got up to Zeta, and that storm formed in December. Our last D storm, the last time we had Delta, that was around November 15th of 2005. So you can see we're about 5 to 6 weeks ahead of where we were in 2005. So we could likely surpass Tropical Storm Zeta and maybe work into Eta, Theta, or Iota as we go here through this very active 2020 hurricane season. Now, the peak of hurricane season is September 10th, and you'll notice as we get into October 1st, there is that big drop-off in named storm activity, but there is a little bit of a resurgence oftentimes in mid to late October, and we are seeing a little bit of an uptick in activity now with our two tropical storms. October is third for most named storms, with about 17% of named storms forming in the month of October. That's behind August and, of course, September, which is the most active. So again, things continue to be very active for this 2020 hurricane season. Now, you might look at the satellite and say, well, okay, well, there's Gamma and there's Delta. Well, that's not exactly right. The center of circulation with Gamma is right here, just off the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Very, very weak system. This is a strengthening system, though. That is Delta. Let's zoom in and give you a closer look here at Gamma. This is the visible satellite. It gives us a better idea. We can see all of the clouds, and you can see that center of circulation. There are no big thunderstorms around its center, and that's why it is a weakening storm. It's so close to land as well, with 40-mile-per-hour winds just drifting to the southwest at 4, and it'll continue to drift onshore here over the next couple of days. This is the 4-day forecast cone, and it just sort of sits here over the Yucatan Peninsula and weakens as we get into the day Thursday, and that sets the stage for our next storm developing in the Gulf of Mexico. That is Tropical Storm Delta here. Southwest of the island of Jamaica, we are seeing those thunderstorms fire up around the center of circulation. As of 2 o'clock today, it had winds of 60 miles per hour. We'll see what happens with that 5 o'clock advisory coming in from the Hurricane Center. But the storm is going to work off towards the northwest. Already alerts posted for the western parts of Cuba and also for the Cayman Islands. As of 2 o'clock, again, working to the west at 7 miles per hour. It is expected to strengthen as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico as a Category 2 storm and then come ashore sometime Friday somewhere along the Gulf Coast. It could be somewhere closer to Houston. It could be somewhere closer to the Panhandle of Florida. Right now, it looks like the Louisiana coastline is the target for the storm as we get into the day on Friday. And why do we think the storm is going to strengthen? Because of the warm waters. Now, the hurricane forecast spaghetti plots, these are all the different computer models, and you can see they're fairly consistent, bringing the storm into the Gulf of Mexico and coming ashore as we get into Friday, somewhere from Louisiana over to maybe the Florida Panhandle. Some of the latest runs of the European model are a little bit farther to the west. So that's something we'll have to watch. Everybody along the Gulf Coast should be concerned about the storm. And eventually, some of the remnants of the storm will bring some rain through parts of the mid-Atlantic as we get into Saturday and Sunday. Exact amounts and the timing really depends on how fast the storm develops and where it moves. As far as the probability of seeing those tropical storm force winds, very likely as we get into the next 5 days. This is at the end of the 5-day forecast period. And you can see there's still the chance that we could see those tropical storm force winds over towards Houston or the Florida Panhandle. Right now, the Louisiana coastline is in the bullseye for this storm coming onshore. Now, I mentioned that the storm is expected to strengthen into the Gulf of Mexico, and here's why. Water temperatures are very, very warm. You need 80-degree water temperature to support a hurricane, and when you see water temperatures into the upper 80s to near 90 like it is here off the coast of Cuba, that really allows the storm to strengthen. Notice as it gets closer to the coastline, the water temperatures do drop off a little bit, so there is a little bit of forecast weakening as the storm gets closer to the coastline. Also, it might encounter a little bit of wind shear. Here's as we go into Monday. This is area of high wind shear, and then that wind shear is expected to weaken. So as the storm starts to make its way into the Gulf of Mexico as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, notice not a lot of shear associated with this system and not a lot of shear in the upper parts of the atmosphere to tear the storm apart. So we are looking at the storm to maintain its strength as we get here into Thursday. As we get closer to Friday, maybe some upper level shear will help weaken the storm or tear it apart just a little bit as it gets closer to that Louisiana coastline. But again, it's expected to be at least a Category 2 storm as it makes landfall as we get into the day Friday. Let's time it out a little bit more with the two computer models. The American model Here it is. Here's the storm as we go into Monday, working its way up here between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula and then into the Gulf of Mexico. All those isobars, the closer they are together, that means that the storm is stronger. And that means that it has stronger winds with it as well. And notice that the computer forecast around 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon coming ashore somewhere here along that Louisiana coastline. And then eventually the remnants being pulled up close to us and bringing us some rain as we get into Saturday and Sunday. And the European model, very, very similar, calling for the storm again to work its way between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula and coming close to that Louisiana coastline. Now, this is the morning run. The latest run is a little bit farther to the west, but still calling for landfall sometime late Friday morning or early into the afternoon, somewhere along that Louisiana coastline, and then some of the remnants bringing some showers to us. Again, latest models a little bit farther to the west, and it might hold the rain off a little bit as we go into the day Saturday. That will just remain to be seen as we have several days to watch this system. And this is, if it makes landfall in the U.S., as we expect it to do, it'll be the 10th landfall so far this year. We had Bertha in South Carolina, Cristobal in Louisiana, Faye in Florida and New Jersey made 2 landfalls. Hannah in Texas, Isaias in North Carolina, Marco, Laura, Sally, all in Louisiana, and Beta in Texas. So you can see 1, 2, 3, storms that have made landfall in Louisiana, and we could see another one as we go here later in the week. Of course, we'll keep you updated, so keep it tuned right here to our YouTube channel, and we'll keep you updated on what's going on in the tropics.